The COVID inquiry continues, and today was the turn of former Chief Scientific Advisor Sir Patrick Vallance, who you may remember from our endless press officers. He said the Prime Minister at the time struggled by the graphs and data presented to him during the pandemic and was sometimes a broken man. He also said that he was concerned at times the government's operational response at limiting the spread of the virus in the early stages of the pandemic. Well, now we can speak with Charles Persinger, who lost his wife and his mother to COVID. Charles, thanks for joining us on the show. The COVID inquiry rumbles on today. Sir Patrick Vallance saying Boris struggled with concept and was often bamboozled. When you look back, and by the way, very sorry for your loss, who do you hold responsible?
Yeah, the government basically do carry some responsibility for this. It's quite clearly that, they claim to follow the science. It's being revealed in the COVID inquiry today that that's not the case. They didn't understand the science, let alone choose to engage with their own science advisors at SAGE concerning certain issues. For instance, today we learned in the COVID inquiry that Rishi Sunak, who as a chancellor at the time, chose not to mention their Eat Out to Help Out program. They chose not to engage with their own government advisors because they were scared of scrutiny from independent SAGE. So I think they basically picked and chose the science that was politically convenient for them. Once again, putting the economy before the welfare of the country. It's absolutely disgraceful. How much longer will the country tolerate this?
Charles, when you look back, of course, Boris Johnson, the Conservatives were in control, but we must remember that at the time, every political party nodded along and went along with this. There was no real opposition. When we look back, with the benefit of hindsight, we may have learned a more Swedish-style approach may have been warranted. Do you think this was an entire failure of the whole political class at the time?
I think personally what they did is they choose to politicize a deadly virus where they should have been looking at it as a health concern as opposed to a political issue. I mean, I know there's commonality, but they basically didn't handle it at all. The messaging was wrong. They couldn't even, between their own government, there was nothing but contempt towards one another and even more contempt towards the country. Personally, I think it's time we have a general election and people get to choose the government they want.
Well, that's going to be coming pretty soon anyway, I would have thought, Charles. What do you make of the prospect of Boris himself taking the podium? He's going to be cross-examined, I believe, in December. What would you like to ask Boris Johnson?
Yeah, why didn't he do better? At the end of the day, his messaging was never straight. Why did he say let the bodies pile high? Why was he so happy to throw our elderly under the bus, our clinically vulnerable, and our marginalized groups of people in this country? Basically, he didn't care. That's the truth of the matter. No matter what he says, I think he still doesn't. And to be quite honest with you, I don't think the situation has improved even today.
And what confidence would you have in the UK's ability to handle a pandemic or a public health emergency of a comparable nature in the future? Do you think we've learned lessons, or do you think we'd still make the same mistakes?
Unfortunately, lessons are being learned. Whether those lessons will be adhered to, that's the problem. Are our government going to choose to listen to the inquiry, the advice they've given, or are they going to politicize another emergency? That's what I'm really concerned about. I think personally the track record is rather revealing at the moment. And to be honest, I don't have confidence in the government at the moment. Look at the results.
OK, Charles Persinger, thank you for joining us on the show. And again, I'm sorry for your loss. Have a good day. Thanks for joining us.